All right, so I'm with the City of Riverside Public Utilities Department, and I'm an associate water engineer in the Utilities Department. Here in the Utilities Department, we have the Electric Division and the Water Division. So I'm in the Water Division. And just to give you a little background about myself, I started off at a community college. I attended Cerritos College, and like there, I got my AA degree at Cerritos College, and then I transferred to a 4-year university to California State University, Long Beach. And at Cal State Long Beach, I studied civil engineering, and I got my bachelor's degree in civil engineering. But while I was at Cal State Long Beach, I also was able to get an internship with a small private consulting firm by the name of Quantum Consulting. So while I was there at Long Beach, I would talk to the professors and try to get advice and things like that for getting an internship and eventually for getting like a full-time position. And I think one of the professors was able to kind of guide me in the right direction. I was able to get a paid internship with Quantum Consulting. So I was going to school full-time at Cal State Long Beach, and I'll work as an intern part-time. And it was really good. And back then it was a paid internship, and it was paying pretty good at that time. And also I had a family, so that was really good to have that paid internship. And while I was at Quantum Consulting, I was working as an intern, I would work with some engineers there. And those engineers were like my mentors as well. So it was really good having mentors that I work with, and I was able to gain experience in engineering while working as an intern. And then eventually I got promoted to an like assistant engineer position with Quantum, and what I've learned and what I've heard is a government job was something that I really wanted. So I was pursuing getting a job with the city. So I was able to get a job with the city of Torrance as an engineering tech after Quantum Consulting. And there I worked in the public works department, and I worked on some water projects as well. And but at that time, while I was working for the city of Torrance, I was living in the Inland Empire. So I wanted a position that was closer to home. So I was able to apply for another engineering tech position with the city of Riverside, which is much closer to where I was living. And even while I was in college at Cal State Long Beach, I remember looking at the city of Riverside employment opportunities page and looking at certain positions that they had. I remember looking at the requirements and seeing kind of what I needed to become like an assistant engineer or an engineering tech with the city of Riverside. And so I was able to apply, interview, and got a job as an engineering tech with the city of Riverside. And there, as an engineering tech, I would work on like pipeline design projects. So I'll prepare engineering construction plans for a lot of pipeline replacement projects. And then after a couple of years, I was able to, I got promoted to an associate water engineer with the city of Riverside. And that's my current position now. I'm an associate water engineer, and I'm in the design group with the city of Riverside. And just wanted to share a couple more slides of the different engineering careers here at the city of Riverside. So in the water engineering, we have our water resources group, we have our planning group, our design group, which I'm in the design group. And then also we have the contract administration, and we also have the operations team. And just to give you a little bit more background, in the water resources group, so pretty much they look at the aquifers and things like that. So under the earth, so in the ground, pretty much there's like a what they call aquifers. So it's like a body of water that's in the ground, and the water resources group. So they look at the water supply and the water sustainability, and eventually we have the aquifers, and eventually what happens is we build like water wells, which pretty much pumps water out of the ground into the distribution system and supply water to the water customers in Riverside. And then we have the water planning group. So what they do is they prepare pre-designed reports and hydraulic modeling. So, and hydraulic modeling, as you see in this image right here, is pretty much it's like a computerized modeling system of the water facilities in Riverside. And here's an example of what our water planning group does. Here in this picture, this is a picture of this was a proposed water booster pump station. And as you can see, this building right here is the water booster pump station. So inside of this building, you would have water pumps that would pretty much increase the water pressure and distribute it into our water system. So the planning group kind of looked at the pre-design aspects of that. And then here, this is an example of some design plans from the water engineering design group. So for example, the design engineers would, which I am, would put together some construction drawings and say, for example, this is the engineering construction drawing of that building that I just showed in the previous slide. And this is the inside of that building. So these construction drawings will show, like say, for example, the pumps and the piping system and then also like the cabinets. So there's the electrical cabinets or the controls cabinets. So the design engineers will draw this up and then give it to the construction team to be built. And then this is another kind of design that the water engineering design group had put together to better visualize what the future water pump station would look like. And then we have our contract administration group, and what they do is they manage and inspect construction projects. And this is a picture of the water booster pump station after it was built by a contractor, and our water contract admin group inspected and managed the construction of this project. And this is the inside of this water booster station after it was built and it's in operation. And we have also our water operations group, which operate and maintains our water facilities. And for example, as I mentioned, this is the water booster pump station. And that's it. That's what I have. Any questions?
There was a question, thank you, Karan, this was very information. A question from the audience, and I think we me and you both can relate to this, but this individual is working toward his bachelor's degree in chemistry and has some certification. His question was, can he start working while he's earning his education? And can you give some insight on that?
And for me, I started while I was working on, while I was at California State University, Long Beach. I started working as an intern. So yes, I believe that you can work as an intern while working on getting your degree. And it was actually, it's really helpful, and you gain a lot of experience and insight while working as an intern.
Yes, we do have technical intern positions. That would be the job title that an applicant would want to look for on our jobs page. And the technical internships, we see them well across the city, primarily, however, in the engineering field, and that is generally students that are in their third or fourth year and towards a bachelor's degree, and they get to really have that hands-on experience and see the types of projects that we're working on. And I've seen over my years a lot of technical interns then get hired as an assistant engineer, and then from there onwards and upwards over the years. So wanted to throw that out there.
Great. We have a couple of questions. Want to keep it moving. It's just basic questions on what certificate and what courses do I take. For Santiago Canyon College, you can contact our career counselor, James Chuong, or myself, and we can walk you through that. But typically, to get certified, I always recommend that water math and hydraulics is kind of a prerequisite for all of the water courses. You have to understand the terminology, how unit dimensional analysis work. It's basic algebra, but if you're not familiar with the terminology, that's what trips a lot of people up. The state exam is about 30% math. So if you don't nail the math, that's where folks have problems. So I also highly recommend you take the water math course. Another question we have here, although I have significant experience in water and wastewater, I want to apply for some entry level or junior positions with the certification or PE license is not required to get started. Will you consider me over as a qualified or not consider my application? I think that should go to one of the HR reps.
I can take that. If I understood the question, someone doesn't have the certifications yet, quite entry level, just getting started. And would we select them over a more qualified candidate that maybe has some years of experience already or has already obtained certifications? I'm going to give you the standard HR answer, which is it depends. It really does depend. It depends on what the applicant pool looks like. It depends on where the vacancy is. It depends on how we're currently staffed. Are we staffed where we have a lot of entry level and minimal sort of higher level, or do we have a lot of advanced or more senior employees in that particular job? And now we're looking to people are promoting and we need to fill from the bottom. So I don't think that we can say across the board yes or no to that, but I would say always put your hat in the ring because you don't know, you wouldn't have that information.
Thank you, Maggie. Got a question for you, Karan. Outside of your degree from Cal State University, Long Beach, what other licenses or certifications do you need to acquire to be an associate water engineer?
Okay, yes, so you need an engineer in training certificate. So I was able to obtain that my senior year at Cal State Long Beach, and I think it's good to take that test around either towards your senior year or right after you graduate.
Hey, Jeffrey, looking at the clock, I would suggest, Maggie, if we move to Eddie.
Sure, that would be great. Yes, I was trying to keep an eye I'm extreme multitasking, keep an eye on the time, listening to the panelists, trying to pull things up on the internet. So everybody, please bear with me. Yes, Mr. Eddie Davalos is one of our cross-connection control specialists, and he has prepared some information to share with you. So would like to give him the floor. And while he's preparing to do that, I dropped a link in the chat that goes to the internship page a little earlier. There had been a question regarding internships. And so there's a whole lot of information that you can access. Looks like Eddie's getting on. Okay, perfect. All right, Mr. Davalos, here you go.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. My name is Eddie Davalos. I'm one of the program administrators here for the Backflow and Cross Connection Department at Riverside RPU. So a little bit of background on me. Out of high school, I was kind of a kid that liked to work in mechanics. Worked on my cars, worked on my motorcycles, anything. Found out I liked working with my hands. So the water industry really interested me. It was one of the fields that I think, along with electricity and gas, that is needed throughout our society. And if you're able to get one of those jobs, you're able to kind of stick around and learn a lot within it. I was picked up with the city of San Bernardino. I actually worked there for about 8 years as a wastewater mechanic. I really learned fast what reclamation meant right when I got picked up, and they threw me into wastewater. So did that for many years, found out that I liked working on pump systems, hydraulic systems. And for there, I kept my education up with going to the junior college route, attended the treatment courses, the distribution courses, along with the cross connection field. Attained my distribution licenses and treatment licenses, and as well the backflow certification. So backflow certifications are different throughout the counties. With where we're at is Riverside County, where you may have the Orange County, LA County. Each one has their own divisions, but the classes are really offered, and they're really great within our agency. So, well, what is a backflow really? Is really they're hiding in plain sight. I'm pretty sure many of you have seen these throughout your city and just kind of maybe not even look at them or think anything of them. But they're actually very, very important, and like to call them, reference them as pretty much cheap insurance. It's they're extremely important within a water distribution system. One thing is that we're all aware that we can get water at our faucet, water at the fridge, and put into a cup and drink it. What we may not be thinking about is who else is connected to that water, who else is doing, whatnot. We have distribution areas, we have manufacturers that use a multitude of chemicals within their facilities. And these are really a basic protection for it. So within the city of Riverside, it's roughly 97 square miles of surface area, and we have roughly over 6,000 of these. And per state and federal regulations, must be tested at a minimum of annually. So that's what our department is actually in charge of, and administers a program of getting these backflows tested and assuring that we have paperwork, assuring that they're testing and passing conditions. So in the event of a backflow condition, which is the reversal of flow of water, that potential pollutants or contaminants that could be harmful to public health don't enter our drinking water system. So if you ever go through an industrial complex, you'll be seeing these. Next time, take a look, and you'll start to see them pretty much everywhere you turn. These ones that I'm showing here on the screen are testable ones, so you're able to test them and make sure that they're working properly. And with that, as a city, we administer the program, but as well that there's a multitude of companies that are actually certified to test these assemblies. So actually, the Santiago College actually offers a class within it showing backflow prevention devices that specializes in each and every one of them. Is very extremely helpful, and it's a part of a water agency. It's a part of a city, of a municipality, that each one of these, it introduces you of what the protection styles are, how to test them, and really goes through it. And it's very extremely educational. Like I said, it's a step through the door to understand a portion of a water utility system. It's extremely helpful. These are in class classes that really puts you on hands-on. I know all of us have different learning capabilities where some like to learn over the computer, some like to be in person. And this is one of those fields that does it. And with this department as well is that it's actually one of the few departments that really gets to see a whole service area. So as you can see in these pictures, you see hoses connected, and many of these are illegal connections, and but you may see a green water section, and that comes from surveying a site. So you want to see how these people are using water, how what type of condition the water supply that they're using on site, not necessarily being supplied by us, but how they're utilizing this. And in cross connection and backflow, that's one of the main purposes, is to find out, hey, maybe something's going on, and if so, the city, what we're going to do is protect our the public by isolating these systems and possibly referring them even farther to a public agency or public health agency to do a bigger investigation. Excuse me. So these for backflow and cross connection, it's extremely a small portion, but such a large portion. And it's one thing for me once I got into the municipality field, it took years. It really took some time to get in. It was interview after interview, and sorry but no thanks, sorry but no thanks. The biggest thing is to really stick with it, keep trying, better your interview skills. I know some of us are rusty, some of us get nervous, and it's really to stick with it. It's a challenging experience, but the overall outcome is very, very fulfilling. And with the education, with it being able to get your distribution or treatment licenses with cross connection, you're able to take the test, or once you complete the class, you actually receive the credits. You'll receive a certificate of completion, and with that, you'll be able to provide it to the county or whoever's the certifying agency, to show them you have that education, possibly achieve a backflow tester's license. So you'd be able to be certified within the county to test those assemblies. And with those, and like my peers have stated, is that this currently right now there's a large group of people that are currently retiring. So these positions are opening up, maybe not in the public field, in the city field, but these companies that have backflow testing are opening up, and they're looking for more people that are interested in it to train, to get their foot in the door. And with that comes an introduction to much more of this. And I know a lot of us are always looking for an open door, just throw a foot in just to get some. So, if for sometimes finding an entry level position, it may lead you to somewhere you never thought you might be, mechanical, electrical, computer based for AutoCAD. And that's the great thing about these divisions, is that it really doesn't stop. And as well, I know with classes, with staying somewhere, and with a society that we're always moving and having time to stop is hard, there are some available trainings out there that it's crash course. If you're ready for it, they can throw you in, and at the end of it, you'll either get that certification, and they'll test you on it. So they'll provide you that equipment in order to proceed farther into that. So, and with all these questions, even with cross connection, what you'll find is that if you email any of us, find a connection, that we're always willing to help. So that's for this experience, it's very, very great and fulfilling. And that's pretty much what I have to offer.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your insight. We're gonna move on. If the Riverside Public Utilities wants to mention anything else, I want to move on to our wonderful Orange County Sanitation District. Okay, great. I'd like to introduce Miss Rebecca Long. She's a senior public affairs specialist with Orange County Sanitation District. She has 20 years of experience specializing in legislative/government affairs, community outreach, crisis management, media, and public speaking. In her spare time, she also enjoys time with her 10-year-old terrier, hiking, Pilates, Zumba, and baking. I like that last one. I'll pass it on to Rebecca now.
Great, thank you so much. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to introduce our esteemed speakers. I understand very tight on schedule, and then I'll pull up our PowerPoint. I want to introduce first Ernie Castro, and Ernie is our operations supervisor. He has 15 years at OC San and 5 years with other wastewater agencies. He's a father of 7, including his two labradoodle, Phoebe and Stormy, and his poodle wiener dog, Kevin. He's currently training for a 100-mile ultra marathon and would love to conquer the toughest ultra marathon race, the Badwater, which is 135 miles. We also have Angel Hernandez. He's our lead instrumentation tech with 5 years at OC San and a total of 19 years experience in the water and wastewater industry. Enjoys outdoors, hiking, working out, and spending time with family and friends. And Denise Martinez, who is our principal HR analyst with over 30 years at OC San. She enjoys traveling, cooking, and spending time with her kids and grand pets. With that said, I will pull up our PowerPoint, and Ernie will be our first presenter. One moment, please.
Hi, everyone. Can you go to slide 2? Thank you.
Sure. 1 second. Let me make sure that's in the proper view. Just making sure you're properly seeing it. If somebody, Denise, probably if you'd let me know, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah,
Is Zoom good?
looks good.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ernie.
Oh, doesn't show any of my notes that I had on the bottom.
No, sir, you'll have to have those in your private notes. If not, we can just go from there.
Okay, well, let's see. I could probably, if you give me a minute, maybe I can pull them up real quick. But let's see, just a minute.
Or maybe you could just speak to every slide and we'll just go from there. I know we're a little bit tight on schedule.
Oh, we are. Okay. Well, hi, everybody. I hope you're having fun here at the CWA Career Job Fair. And I just want to share with you a little bit about Orange County San, our service area and what we do here at Orange County. A lot of you, I don't know, my audience, if you're aware what a wastewater treatment plant is, here at Orange County Sanitation District, we treat about, between 2 plants, we treat about 180 million gallons per day. And we have 388 miles of sewer piping, and our service area is 479, and the population that we serve is 2.6 million. And what we do here is we collect, we treat, and we help recycle wastewater. So the way I look at it, wastewater is a resource, and it's a resource that really needs an opportunity to be treated, and for our benefit and for the benefit of the environment. You know, years ago, raw sewage was just put into the ocean. You know, it was always said dilution is the solution. But thankfully, wastewater treatment plants were invented, and we treat the wastewater, and our water goes, can you go next slide, please? So here's a process overview. So if you can see the screen here, we have our influent water that comes from residential, industrial, and commercial. The water goes through our plant to preliminary treatment, where we remove rags and organics from the system with the conveyor system, bar screens, and a grit system that removes all this debris. As the water travels through, we do add chemicals for advanced primary treatment. We add ferric and we add polymer, which are added for primary treatment, advanced primary treatment. And in an advanced primary treatment, the solids settle to the bottom, the floatables to the top, and that gets removed and goes into our digester system. Into our digester system, we have a detention time of 28 days, where we heat up the solids in there at a temperature of about 98 to 100 degrees, and we mix it. We also, it's a dome shape, So that gas, we use that gas, we compress it and we use that gas to run our engines at both plants to supply us with power. Then those solids go to our dewatering centrifuges, and they go in at a 3% density and they turn into about 25% density. So it's kind of looks like a little brownie. And then that gets removed by, we ship that out to compost and for land application. And a funny story is, before I worked for OC San, I worked in Kern County for 2 wastewater plants. So I used to see these trucks show up with the biosolids. And I always wonder what they're doing there. They would put them in cotton fields and you could see the cotton plants grow really, you can tell the difference. So that's the solids part. The liquid part goes into secondary treatment where we have microorganisms that help remove 98% of the TSS and BOD. And that water is sent to groundwater replenishment system, this Orange County Water District. And Orange County Water District treats that water, goes far and above advanced treatment where that water is actually drinkable water that gets sent into, like the first engineer was talking about, aquifers. So here in Orange County, this is actually desert. All our water is imported. So what we're doing here at Orange County San with OCWD, we are taking all this wastewater and we are injecting it, or well, they're pumping it and injecting it to the aquifers for use. When you turn on your sink, if you live in Orange County, guess what? It's the same wastewater you flushed. It just got treated way faster. Can we go to the next slide, please? And here you'll see the efficiency. It says efficiency of water. Well, the wastewater. As we're talking, that's a sample right there where it says raw sewage. That's what first came in. That probably got removed out of splitter box. Then after advanced primary treatment, you see the primary effluent there, it clears up. And then the secondary treatment over there, which that probably has a TSS of probably like 3 or 5, which when it came in the plant, it was in the high 400s. And that water is the water we sent to Orange County Water District, which they treat it with their advanced treatment. And that's the water we're using in our aquifers. Can you go to the next page? Here's just some pictures we wanted to share. The first one on the, what did I say? The right corner, people working right there. That's a primary basin there. See, the thing here is that a lot of our equipment, as everything, right? Time doesn't stop, so it has to age, and it ages and it has to be repaired. If you move over to the next picture next to it, that is our scrubber system. That's one thing I didn't cover. I cover solids and I cover water, but we also treat the H2S that's caused in the collection system or caused in our primary system. And we are regulated by the AQMD and we treat that, so we remove the odor. And right there is on the bottom right corner is the digester. So what I was talking about where we put solids and see how it has a little dome shape. That's where the gas comes up, and that gas is used for our engines. And then on the far right, you have a primary basin. That's a circular with a flat dome, kind of different from the one up top. Can we move to the next page, please? Oop.
Sorry.
There you go. It's okay. I was getting a phone call from my senior. I'll call him back. So my roles here at OC San. Well, at this point, I'm an operations supervisor. So I've done it all. I've been an operator in training. I've been a senior plant operator. I've been a lead plant operator for many years. And the last 3 years, I became an operations supervisor. And with all those years, I gained a lot of experience and knowledge. So now my job is to share my knowledge and my experience and some of my, sometimes little mistakes or things we grow from, and help develop our new operators and our OITs, plant operators, seniors, and help them out. That's kind of my role here. There's a couple pictures right there. That picture right there, the first one, that's actually a bar screen. That's where the water first comes in and we remove the rags. Picture where the mouse is, That's actually our mechanical department deragging, which looks like a check valve. So sometimes we try to remove all the rags, but they still get through the bar screens because liquid gets through. And then the other picture there, that's an air compressor. And that's another job right there. That gentleman right there with the clipboard is actually a planner. He was a mechanic and then became a planner. So there's a lot of different positions in the wastewater field. And on the right is one of my favorite coworkers, Esther Chang. She was selected operator of the year, I believe, twice already. And the reason I put her there is because a lot of people say, do you need experience to come into this field? You know, a lot of people think, oh, you have to have a construction background, or you have to know this, or you have to know that. Esther actually didn't have an experience, but took the time to study. Actually, her dad worked here for many years, was an instrumentation tech, and her brother works here too. But Esther took the time, studied, learned about the plant, took the courses, and was hired, and with no experience, became an operator in training. And I believe she's been here 10 years. And out of those 10 years, she has won operator of the year twice. Just to show you that you just have to believe in yourself, and you just have to do it. So let's move on to the next one. Oh, there's a picture of me right there. Oh, wow, that was like probably 12 years ago. So my journey all started as I grew up in my dad's trade. My dad was a bricklayer, so I became a bricklayer. And I got married young, and I became a contractor, laying block, brick, concrete, and I ended up moving out of Orange County and moving to a small little city in Kern County called City of Delano. So as I was living there, one day I was digging a trench. It was about a foot wide, 2 feet deep, 85 feet long. I had a pick and a shovel. And I'm digging there, I'm halfway done, and I'm like sweating. If you don't know Kern County, it's about 115, 120 degrees out there. So I just had my pick, my shovel. I look over and I see these gentlemen, like 3 of them, one on the backhoe, one being held up by a shovel, and the other one telling the other guy what to do. So I joked around and I said, man, wish I had a job like you guys. Well, and the guy's reply to me was, don't hate the player, hate the game. So I started laughing. Me and that gentleman ended up becoming friends. And I did a lot of work at his house. I did a lot of brick work, block work. I did barbecue pits. I did all kinds of work at his house. And, you know, at the time, I think, man, I was in my early 20s. I was probably like 25, 23. And he saw already, my hands were already beat up because of the concrete, the cement. My face was already all burnt. And he started talking to me and says, why don't you get a job? Why don't you get a city job? You know, explaining to me like, man, you're always working. Don't you ever take a day off? Because you work all the time. And I was working 7 days a week. There's no such thing as an 8-hour day. There were 12 hours, 14-hour days. And, you know, time went by, and one day I decided, you know what, why not? So I decided to apply again. I didn't have no wastewater, water treatment, no experience at all. But I can tell you, when I went into that interview, I said, this is for my family. This is to better myself. You know, I love my dad. I love his trade. I respect the trade. Every once in a while, I'll go lay some block, but I said, I need to have days off. I need to live life. I need to enjoy my family. So I went in that interview and did my best, and I answered the questions, and I ended up getting hired. And I'll speed it up a little because we're running out of time, but I didn't know they were going to put me at a wastewater plant. I thought they were going to put me in the distribution. So I was scared. I was like, what is a wastewater plant? Am I going to physically have to remove this stuff with a shovel or something? So anyways, I got hired. I got there as an operator in training. And next slide, please. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, this is your certification. So to become a wastewater operator, you can actually take the state exam. You can take the state exam, and you have 3 years to get hired or volunteer and come up with 1 year of experience and you get a license. It's probably different than most certificates. But like I said, there's a lot of opportunities. You have like Riverside that does volunteering. I can go on and on. I've had my cousin that grew up in Santa Ana travel all the way to San Diego to work for free and came up with his hours. And guess what? He lives in Victorville now. He's been with Victorville Valley for 7 years and is doing great. Bought his home, living life. So it's to you to put in the work, and do it. So next slide, please. What can you do? What you're doing right now, you're attending seminars, trainings, CWA, knowledge is power. It's a great opportunity to network and meet fellow stewards of the environment. Attend community college trade schools that offer technical skills. Even myself, I attended Santiago County College. I got my certificate there. I did all my courses there. Guess what? Now my son's 20 years old. He decided that, he's going to join his dad, just like I did my dad's trade. That's me right there. And he's going to join my trade too. And right in front of me is Elvira. She also came in through internship. And on the next picture, you have Chris, one of the many people there that also came in as an intern through Santiago Canyon College and was hired. And we've hired many people that have come through in the internship through Santiago Canyon College. And hopefully HR covers that, but I just want people to know it's one of the best opportunities for people because they just don't go into operations. We cycle them through different like operations, mechanical, instrumentation, collections, and people really realize, wow, there's more than wastewater. People think, oh yeah, just an operator, wastewater. I want to be a wastewater operator. I've had a good friend of mine. I thought he was going to be an operator. I wish he was going to be an operator. He ended up becoming an electrician and later on a planner. And I think next slide. And we're all superheroes. I'm a wastewater superhero here at OC San. And the reason I am is because you know what? Gotham already has Batman, so that job is taken. So I welcome you all to come to OC San or any other district and be a superhero. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Well, a couple of questions. We can pass it on to our next presenter.
I cut my own hair. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Sometimes the haircut chooses you. But anyway, what's required to become an operator in training at a wastewater treatment plant? And the second question, and I don't think it's been answered, it was asked a while back, but if you have a criminal record, can you still get hired in a plant? That's probably best answered for our HR analyst, but go ahead.
Okay, to become an operator in training, you need to be hired, or you need a volunteer at an agency, and they will put the application through the State Water Resource Control Board. So that's a little different than most of the other certificates like T1, D1, where you can just get them and you're good. You actually have to work at an agency or volunteer, and that agency is gonna send in the application with you, and they keep that certificate. It's not even, the OIT is not yours to take. Once you become a grade 1 operator, once you put in a year and you pass the state exam, then you get certified. And I'm no HR, but about the criminal and stuff like that,
We'll let Denise answer that one.
I'll let her answer that one. Okay.
Yeah, I think Denise probably would be best for that one. Denise, you might want to mute yourself on that. Denise is our HR representative.
I'm going to start off with a really hard question.
Sorry.
No, that's
Answer for you.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So as far as criminal background, we definitely, there's laws about that, and we're not going to hold anything against someone who's served their time and taken care of any issues in their past. So in general, it's not going to be a deterrent unless it's something very, in some rare cases, it may be a safety issue or something along those lines, but otherwise, it's usually not a deterrent.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Ernie. We appreciate it. Ernie, did you want to say something else before we go on to April?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that a lot of these prisons and institutions, they actually offer wastewater. And I've actually know people that are close to me that have been in prison and have attended the wastewater classes there and have taken and have got the experience in the years and passed the state exams there and have become very successful. So don't let nothing hold you back, you know. So best of luck to you all. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ernie. Thank you, Denise. I'm going to go on to Angel. Angel, let me know if you're ready.
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm going to go to your first slide.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, CWA and SARS for the opportunity to share my journey and talk about my trade with everyone today. My name is Angel Hernandez, and thank you all for joining me today. I am currently the lead instrumentation technician at Orange County Sanitation District. Today, I want to share 3 key topics related to my career. These topics include my career journey, what is instrumentation, and what you can do today to get started. I'll start off with my journey. My career journey in the water and wastewater began about 19 years ago, 3 months after receiving my high school diploma. I graduated from high school with no future plans, didn't know what I was doing, and needed to get a job so I could move out of my parents' house. So a friend and I went to a temp agency and started and applied at a temp agency. And about 2 weeks after we went there, he got a phone call from an agent there and offered him a temp position at the city of San Juan Capistrano. Well, the day he was supposed to start, I called him up to find out how it went, and he proceeded to tell me that he never showed up. Well, 2 days later, that same agent calls me and offers me the same position. And I started working on a Monday. I gladly accepted, and I started working on a Monday in September of 2003. And little did I know this was going to be the beginning of my wastewater career. My first temp position was a meter reader, helping customers identify issues with their water bills and assisting water distribution operators and with water mainline breaks. After 18 months and still a temp employee, I was able to take my experience to a full-time permanent position at the city of San Clemente. I started there as a distribution operator, working on the collections crew, primarily on the Vector truck, and then some CCTV or monitoring or viewing the sewer line. 6 months after I was hired in San Clemente, I got promoted to electrical instrumentation tech. And this is where I found my niche. I enjoyed the complexity, the troubleshooting process, and just the process as a whole made an impact on me, the electrical theory, instrumentation theory. After 13 years at City of San Clemente, I decided to take my skill set to Orange County Sanitation District. I was hired here as an instrumentation tech 2. 6 months after I was hired here, I was promoted to lead instrumentation. And up until this point, each promotion, each position, I had been experiencing like a progressive increase in my responsibilities. And then most recently, the effects of leadership that can have on a team. And you can see here with this picture, this picture here is just explaining the leadership. The guys around you are all leads. They're all, you can all learn something from them. You just have to, talk to them, ask them questions. Everybody, I've been fortunate to work with a great group of people. So I'm gonna move on to what is instrumentation. Some of you might be wondering, what is instrumentation? I like to refer to instrumentation as operating a motor vehicle of any kind. When we operate a vehicle, you rely on analytical information like the speedometer, how fast you're going, your gas gauge, what's the level in your gas tank, and then your temperature gauge to give you the temperature of your engine. You rely on these instruments to make corrections while driving, or you just need to pull over and fill up the gas tank. All this information and much more is being delivered to you through instruments within the vehicle. Instrumentation in wastewater is very similar. Our instruments are providing critical information to operations to make necessary corrections or adjustments to provide a highly effective treatment process. And in some cases, these corrections or adjustments are done automatically through automation, just very similar to the cruise control in your vehicle. When you program your vehicle to maintain 65 miles an hour, a small computer will take over and maintain that speed for you. Or in process control automation, we use PLCs, which is the next slide, I believe. One more down. Sorry. We use PLCs like the ones you see in the slide here. You got one on the left is our older version. The one on the right is our latest versions of new PLCs that are coming online. PLC stands for Programmable Logic Controller. These PLCs are programmed to automate complex wastewater control processes throughout the plant. Based on the signal inputs it's receiving from the instruments in the field, the PLC will then make corrections by executing function outputs to other instruments in the field. And show the next slide. And here's an example of the control automation of a tank. And you got your PLC there. So for the instruments that we have in the field, it is highly critical that these instruments are reliable in maintaining signal accuracy. And to do this, we have implemented an effective and efficient maintenance plan to calibrate and verify all the instruments and equipment in the field. Next slide. And without a regular maintenance plan, instruments and equipment can fall out of spec, and which will then provide inaccurate measurement signals, threaten the quality of our treatment process. Some of the instruments that we use to calibrate the equipment in the field, the instruments in the field, are the ones you see here on the left-hand side, using temperature blocks, multi-calibrators, communicators, pump calibration modules, and source modules. Instrumentation is an integral piece to the puzzle of maintaining wastewater treatment quality and is essential to the automation control processes. Now I'm going to just talk about what you could do today to get started. One of the first things I suggest, and I think a lot of the panel has suggested, I'm just going to echo it, it's schooling, it's education. I started off with Santiago Canyon College in the water utility program. I highly encourage everyone to enroll in these programs, enroll in these colleges, and get started with one program and see. I know they just found out today that they offer an E&I program that I might even go check out. It wasn't available to me back then. I did a lot of my PLC industrial automation through Orange Coast College. I've also obtained some E&I technical certifications for CWA and ISA, International Society of Automation, is another great organization for becoming a CCST, which is a Controlled Certified System Technician, or a Control Automation Programmer, a CAP, which we promote here at the district. We highly encourage those certifications here, and some of the other programs that are offered there's some other colleges out there that I know that we've used in the past, but they're not on this slide. And then just to reiterate what Ernie was saying about the internship program, we've hired some of our instrumentation technicians have come through that internship program. They've either gotten hired as an OIT and then they got promoted to an entry-level position as an instrumentation or electrician. I've even seen mechanical as well. But instrumentation is a lucrative field, and it has many challenges throughout the day, and that's what's gravitated me towards instrumentation and kept me intrigued. So I want to thank everyone. If I could give any words of wisdom, just keep applying, keep trying. Entry levels, get your education certification. And if there's anything we can do, if anything I can do, I'd be greatly appreciated to help you out. So thank you.
Thank you, Angel. And now, do we have any quick questions? If not, we'll go straight on to Denise.
Yeah, this just answer a quick question. Excuse me, Denise. The instrumentation classes, there was a question, are there any classes that you can take? And Angel hit on it. At Santiago Canyon College, we have a new electronics technology program where we offer hands-on testing with some of the key equipment that Angel mentioned. So yes, please follow up with James or myself for more information.
Wonderful. Okay, Denise, you're on.
All right. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Hello, everyone. I'll try to not take too much time. I know we're nearing the end of our presentation, but let me share some information with you. So at OC San, there's 6 key jobs that I want to highlight that really pertain to CWEA that we hire for. And so those include wastewater treatment plant operators, mechanics, electricians, instrumentation technicians, construction management inspectors, and source control inspectors. And you heard from a couple people who hold those jobs already. And if you're not familiar with what each of these jobs do, there is a brief description on the slide for you. And as you might also notice that the job titles provide an indication of what each job does as well. For the wastewater plant operators, these are the individuals who are operating our treatment facilities. Ernie Castro is one, and that's his team. And then you have the mechanics, electricians, and instrumentation technicians, and they're performing the same type of work throughout our facilities. And that was, you heard from Angel Hernandez, he's in the instrumentation group. And then construction management inspectors, they're inspecting all of the construction work that's happening at OC San. And then finally, the source control inspectors, those are the folks who are inspecting and controlling what's getting discharged into our OC San sewer lines. Next slide, please. All right. So for each of these hot jobs that I mentioned on the prior slide, here's a slide that's showing you sample career paths. So for each path, you're seeing all the different jobs that relate to that particular position, starting with the jobs that require the least experience, all the way through the jobs that require the most experience. And I'm saying these are samples because there's no guarantee that someone's going to start and end on this exact same path or advance through every single level. Somebody might go in a totally different direction, but this slide is just really intended to show you all the different opportunities there are that relate to a particular job. In essence, a person's career path is really going to depend on not only if there's positions available and the person's interests, but it also depends on the recruitment process, and that's going to occur for every single position. So on this next slide is some entry-level jobs. So if you're interested in pursuing a career in any of these areas, you might want to consider preparing for these entry-level jobs. So there's a summary on this page of all the requirements for each of these jobs. And so you can see the education, the experience, the licenses that are required, and also the pay is on here. And you might notice there's an asterisk next to some of the titles, and this came up earlier. These are the jobs that either are going to require a certification to apply or a certification upon hire or soon after hire. So just a note about that. And I mentioned this is a summary. So what I would recommend you do is go to our website, ocsan.gov, and look for class and compensation. And this is where you're going to find all of the class specifications for each of our jobs with all the full details. And also you're going to find pay information as well on that site. And one thing I also want to note about entry-level jobs is that because they require the least experience, we do receive a lot of applications when there's an opening. Like maybe we'll get 100 applications for an operator in training position. So I want to note that in that case, we're going to be looking at each and every application and determining who's most qualified. So if there's a candidate that has no experience and there's a candidate that has some experience, we're probably going to go with the candidate that has some experience. My point here is that even though the threshold is low for these entry-level jobs, really try to look for ways to be a standout on your job application. And speaking of tips, I have some recommendations, tips, and tricks for you. Next slide, please. And so starting with the first one, my first recommendation would be to prepare. So I mentioned on the last slide about class specifications. So these are great documents that are going to tell you everything you need to know about a job. So if there's a job you're interested in, take a look at the class spec and learn as much as you can from it. And so once you know what the job entails, then you can go about trying to gain that knowledge and experience that you're going to need for that job. So this might include going to school, maybe participating in a program through Santiago Canyon College, getting a certification, gaining some comparable job experience. All of those things would be great to prepare for a job. And then also, similar to City of Riverside, we operate the same way. We have job interest cards. So if you're interested in learning about jobs that become open that you're interested in, you're going to go to our website under jobs and look for job interest cards and follow the prompts to subscribe for notifications. All right, can you back up one slide? There we go. Okay, so the next item for recommendations, tips, and tricks is to apply. So that may seem pretty straightforward, but make sure if a job comes open that you're interested in, make sure that you apply. And a few notes about the application. You want to consider it step one of the interview process. It's like a pre-job interview, first chance to make an impression. So on your application, make sure you're showing the experience that shows you're a good match for the job. If there's any questions you're asked, make sure you're answering those thoroughly, you're following directions, and also check for spelling and grammar mistakes, because this is really your chance to showcase your written communication skills. OCSAN also has what's called a job application guide. So if you take a look at that document, it's very helpful. It's going to go to take a deeper dive into applications, and that is also on our website under jobs. A couple other points on this tip is if you are selected for an interview, make sure you practice. It really makes a difference. Go on Google, find some interview questions, practice answers, and have people ask you those questions until you're comfortable and confident in your answers. And then lastly, you want to know what you're getting into with the recruitment process. I know that City of Riverside went over this a little bit. I'll do the same, but it's good to just know what you're getting into and why it might take a little bit of time to hear back and go through all the different steps. Okay, I know I'm going to try to blaze through these last few slides. Last tip I would recommend, and people have mentioned it throughout the presentation, is don't stay positive and don't be discouraged if you're not selected. You just never know who you're going to be up against and how many people are competing for a job. So just keep trying. Don't give up. If it's something you really want, just keep improving and preparing. I want to give you an example. We had one employee who applied 9 times for a promotion before they were selected. So that's just really an example of somebody who kept improving and preparing until he finally achieved his goal. As far as our application process, we only accept applications for jobs that are open. This is generally a 2-week window. You can find out about the jobs that are open by visiting our website at any time. There's a list of open jobs, or you sign up for those job interest cards and then you're going to get email notifications when a job comes open. And then next slide is just talks about the recruitment process. You can see why it might take a little bit of time. There's a job advertisement period. That's when we're accepting applications. Then we review the applications, interviews, notifications is when we let everybody know if you were selected or not. Whoever was selected goes through a screening process, then an onboarding process, and then the start date. And then next slide. These are some of the benefits we offer at OC San, just to give you an idea. We're very proud of our OC San University. That's our development program. Also pay for education and certifications. And then the next slide is the last slide. So this is the end of my portion of the presentation. If you have any questions, we do have an email, jobs@ocsan.gov. Feel free to contact us. Also phone number 714-593-7141. I mentioned several times our website, great resource of information. There's a snapshot of that on the screen, what you're going to be looking at. And I thank you all very much for your time. Was there any questions?
Yeah, thank you very much, Denise. That was excellent. We want to thank our sponsors and our panelists for an excellent opportunity. I just had we're being very mindful of your time, but I did have one question or just a comment. I love the fact when you're looking for a job, prepare for the job, then apply. And also, understand that you have to stay positive. Finding a job can be challenging. And I'd like to add one thing, and there's 3 questions that I always found in my many years of being on both sides of the interview panel that are asked. One is, what in your education and your experience qualifies you for this position, right? There's always a teamwork question. How do you work together as a team? And finally, there's a question, is there anything else you like to add? Never say no. All right, so always try to end it with a positive, as Denise mentioned, try to separate yourself from other potential applicants. One quick question, I think we have time for that, and I'll be mindful of folks' time this last 3 minutes. Are there tours for the Orange County sanitation plant still going on, and the groundwater replenishment system?
Okay, well, I will answer that. We currently have virtual tours, and you can go onto our site, which Denise has kindly mentioned a couple times, www.ocsan.gov, education or about us, and you can look for tours. You can also look to see we have a Wastewater 101 Academy. Soon, I'm sure we'll be opening up and having in-person tours. We're just, making sure that we have the safest environment for everyone. So right now we're definitely doing open virtual tours, and you can sign up for the open ones or ask for a specific one if you're with a university or something like that.
Great. Any more questions for any agencies out there? I see, are there any volunteer opportunities currently at Orange County Sanitation District?
We do have an internship program, and then Denise might talk particularly about internships in regards to operations or instrumentation or something to that effect.
Yeah, as far as the internships, we do offer a student internship program and then also a vocational internship program. Right now that's on pause because like Rebecca mentioned about providing a safe environment, but hoping to see that come back soon. Both of those programs, you're gonna need to apply. So when we're hiring for those positions, we will post those jobs. So sign up for the job interest card for student internship and vocational internship.
And thank you for Orange County Sanitation District. You've been a partner with Santiago Canyon College, and our students are required to take X number of classes. And in the past, prior to COVID, we were very successful in getting some students hired on. So thank you so much. That concludes this wonderful virtual job fair. I want to thank everyone for their attendance. Again, Alec Mackey, who's behind the scenes here, coordinate everything. Thank you from the CWA. We really appreciate you. That pretty much concludes it. I wish you all the best of luck in your water career. There is a job out there for you somewhere. Stay positive, be persistent, and get the education required. Education is power. So we really wish you the best. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all.
For sure. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Thank you.